Snipe down's going pillars to bottom mid.
Dummies,
Two bottom mid, bound, snipe down.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are into finally some gameplay for you. As you can see, it's not going to be from every single POV. Shout out to Lethal from Sentinels for allowing us to exactly co-broadcast his stream POV. Much love to Lethal. Obviously, go and check out his stream if you are not a supporter of Lethal and you want to catch some more action in the future. But now we're going to see finally our elimination bracket finals. We're into our games now. This is going to be the first game of the series. Lethal picking up one, but we're going to try and keep this one chill and casual because we only have the one POV to work with.
Yeah, it would seem there were just some network issues maybe with the Observer, with the Sentinel players or something, but at least we can get some action on our screens here and we can finally get this elimination final underway. And, you know, there's a lot on the line for both of these players when it comes to, you know, be able to prioritize what pool you're going to be in, what seed you finish in here in the top four for Rally. You want to be in one of those kind of top pools, Pool A or Pool B, and if you finish in the top two, that is where you're going to reside. Outside of that, you can randomly be seeded into another pool, and then really you're just letting fate decide. So I think trying to prioritize being that 1 and 2 seed is really where these teams want to be.
Something we should point out here, just so if you're watching and you're not sure what team is what, and it sounds like a strange thing to say, but obviously each individual player is going to have their premises on what player outlines are going to be there. So from Lethal's POV, from Sentinel's POV that we're sharing with you right now, all of the Inconceivable players will have those yellow outlines, and it'll be Lethal and the rest of the Sentinels who will have the purple. So at the moment they're going to be making a push here. 2 players have fallen for Inconceivable. Ball in the hands of Sentinels for now, but at the start here, a little bit of a standoff between the two teams. Not too much ball time to speak of.
Yeah, trying to make the play with the heat wave there is Lethal, and we've seen some plays already, some insane plays today with the heat wave and how it can really affect the game, whether it be at the start or whether it can be the end. Also, the power-up is coming up right now, so Sentinel's not in a position to grab this one. Inconceivable looks like they're going to get hold of it, and that could really allow them to make a push, try and break this setup, and try and get some more ball time.
You did mention setup though, and it has been ball time going to Sentinels for the last sort of 20 seconds or so. Boobadooboo is going to be able to grab the ball though with that OS that you mentioned, so it's going to be a difficult break here, but Inconceivable and Boobadooboo did take a little bit of damage from the team fire coming in from Sentinels. So that overshield just being used to kind of escort the ball out of that dangerous area bottom mid. But 2 kills do fall to them, and it's going to be last player alive here actually on the death screen. You can see Lethal watching his teammate will get the respawn with him, but Boobadooboo and the rest of Inconceivable have managed to escort that ball all the way to back tower.
And I did mention it a little bit earlier when these two teams scrimmed against each other recently. It was very much Sentinels dominating Inconceivable. I think when I stopped watching, it was around 9-3 in favor of Sentinels. So they certainly had Inconceivable number, but that doesn't necessarily count for everything when it comes to tournament play. It would seem that Inconceivable have looked a different class today. They took Cloud9 out over in the winners bracket. They were so close to taking games off, well, several games off of Optic Gaming as well. But they did drop eventually into that elimination bracket, and that's why they find themselves here into the elimination final against Sentinels. As for Sentinels on the other side on set, it has been quite the comeback story. After a top 12 finish last weekend, now they're back into the top 3 with a chance of getting to the grand finals.
Yeah, this is the Sentinels revenge arc. A couple of shots going to go down here from Lethal. A nice double kill to help out his teammates, and while that's happening, Lethal is going to be escorting his teammate Snakebite, unfortunately, who's been taken down if you're a Sentinels fan, with that ball back to the tower. So if they can get a couple of kills here, Sentinels, which they seem to be doing in the kill feed with Frosty picking up 1, they might be able to rack up a little bit more ball time if someone can get their hands on it.
Impressed with how Sentinels are moving around the map as a unit right now. It's something we saw in the previous series against E United, just holding hands at times to make sure someone's within proximity so that they can finish off, so that they can get the assist. The overshield has popped and it is there and available, but it doesn't look like Sentinels again are going to be able to grab it. It was Boobadooboo who got hold of it last time, and if Inconceivable can get hold of it, it might allow them to once more push towards tower, grab this ball, but Sentinels are making it very awkward for Inconceivable to get around the map right now.
3 dead for Inconceivable, and that's going to be ball time going to Sentinels. 47-46 the score at the moment, so pretty much an even footing in this round between the two teams. Falcated will be melted by the team shot coming in from Sentinels, and the one cool thing about watching a single player POV is you get to see not only the decisions he's making, but you get to hear the comms in the background as well. You get to see how they're covering each other as a team.
Also, the reticle is a little bit more accurate than the observer as well. This is more like what we're going to see at LAN, when we actually can see players' POVs. So sometimes you might have been watching the stream and just seeing that reticule slightly adrift and the bullets slightly missing. Well, no, this is going to be very much accurate from Lethal's point of view, what he's hitting and how he's shooting. And Lethal is one of those players that you are definitely going to need to watch, because I'm very impressed with what he's done so far in Halo Infinite, very impressed at how he's played throughout Halo 5. He's one of those players, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, Mark, he will get the job done no matter what he needs to do, whether it's put his life on the line, whether it's grab the ball, whether it's grabbing the strongholds. He's always there or thereabouts, and he knows how to put big numbers with the slates too.
He certainly does. But I like the new headwear, by the way, from Lethal. You know, he's always considered himself a big brain player. I didn't realize it had got to the size where he's actually having to wear a bandage around his head to keep it in place. But that's where we are. That's where Lethal's career path has taken him, as he now is going to be on somewhat of a move towards his teammates. The ball will be down bottom middle, and Sentinels will have it momentarily in their control. But they're around 20 points or so down at the moment. So even though from the POV of Lethal, things seem to be going pretty well. He's making a lot of the right decisions in game. It is Inconceivable. Have just managed to scrap up a little bit more time here.
And there's only 1 minute 10 seconds left on the clock for this first round as well. So if Sentinels don't make a move and start to get some ball time soon, then Inconceivable can play the idea of actually just slaying Sentinels and allowing this time to tick by, and they will secure round number 1 and the first round of this oddball game. But now Sentinels will get ball time. They can start to catch up, and of course that will pause the timer there that you see at the bottom of your screens.
Yeah, it's going to be everything going to Sentinels as well. They have the sniper, they have the kills, they have the oddball, and they have the overshield. So this is a real opportunity here for them to change this game and really put themselves into a commanding position. Speaking of changing the game, it's going to be a change of the lead now as the kills are going in their favor. There's bound bottom middle. The repulsor might cause Lethal some problems. Snipedown did manage to pick up 1 kill, but you can still see the ball time is racking up here for Sentinels. But a couple of kills not being cleaned up as efficiently maybe as Sentinels would have wanted means that they're not going to be able to grab the time quite as quickly as they want it.
A really good rotation of the ball though, transitioning all the way from top middle over towards tower, and now you have the option to play. And with only 52 seconds on the clock, with that ball going back to bottom middle, you can spam so many grenades in there. You can position yourself to fire bullets over to the opposition team to make it near impossible to even pick that ball up. And that's why you see Snipedown pushing ahead of the ball, trying to do some damage to allow the rest of the team to grab it, and Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo's done just that. Now looking to try and just scavenge some time here, bringing it back tower.
Well, of course, it's the troll in me wants to talk about Snipedown versus Lethal, chapter 457, but that story is as old a time at this point, so we'll just focus on what is in front of us. And Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo is the player who they're focusing on right now, who is bottom middle and had that ball in their hands. But now you can see that they've got cleared a little bit of space here. Sentinels have only got around 8 seconds or so to close out this round, and it doesn't look like there's anyone in position here from Inconceivable to really make a last-second desperate push. And with that nade going down, it will be the first round going to Sentinels, who go 1-0 up in this best of 3 on oddball.
An unorthodox position to be holding it at times there for Sentinels, but they got that scrappy time. It was very important, and they will close out round number 1 here. Inconceivable just not really able to get that final push because of where Sentinels position themselves.
Well, let's jump into a listening, actually. Let's boost the volume on these comms, because it's always a cool thing to do to listen to the players in-game. We have that ability now with Lethal Stream.
That's Mangler. That's Mangler.
Yeah, he's going garage. I got him.
I'm going Ovi. I'm gonna go Ovi.
Trying to get repulsor. Oh no, they spawn here at me. What the fuck? They spawn B, one way A flat. That's a weird spawn. Yeah, watch going top mid.
Screen and A pop. That one hit.
Yep, nest. Nice shit, dude.
One bullet. Going top mid to cut. Don't let him get out with it. Nice, good fucking.
Somebody behind me, I cannot grab ball.
Get your shields. PJ's A plat. You guys can.
Yeah, I'm holding A plat.
Play for screens. PJ, live. Do not fucking die. Matt, they're gonna spawn your green.
We gun screens, Boo Boo.
PJ, are you helping us or what?
Yeah, I'm here. I can get Boo Boo.
Screens or
Snipe down, one shot. C flat.
Two, there's another one, Matt. Alright, yo, grab ball, run it out, dude. Run it out, trust. Yeah, Brad, yo, could spawn garage here, TJ, if you want,
No, we spawned it.
It's our responsibility to apologize for some of the fruity language you just heard in the comms there for Sentinels, but just showing the intensity is there. Snipedown picking up a double here is going to be traded out though, but a good start in this second round for Sentinels once more.
Yeah, this is a really good start for Sentinels. 23 seconds to 1 at the moment, but what's impressed me most is how well they've controlled this map and how well they've forced Inconceivable to consistently have to push through unorthodox positions and maybe transitioning across the map in a way they wouldn't really like to. It's been so unnatural at times, having to sometimes force themselves through bottom middle or rotating through open field, which has just allowed Sentinels to kind of beam them and take angles and just assist one another to consistently shut them down. And now with Overshield popping and Lethal in a place to grab it, but so is someone from Inconceivable, but it looks like it's still going to go into the hands of Sentinels.
They didn't actually make the grab there, that player from Inconceivable. Don't know if he died on his way up or on his way down, but one thing we can guarantee is that they don't have the Overshield, because Lethal's the player who does have it in his hands for now. Bound taking some shots, Falcated picking up a kill though for Inconceivable, but control seems to be very much in the hands of Sentinels at the moment, and there's a triple for Lethal, the OS doing the work.
Yeah, doing the work and also shutting down any potential scavenging time on the ball for Inconceivable, and Sentinels will take advantage of having the players up now to also put a couple more seconds on the board to tick closer towards that 100. Every point does count for sure, and with Inconceivable on that respawn screen, they have to maneuver their way across the map before they can really stop this ball being played. And because of that, Sentinels can do this. They can go for the ambushes, they can wait around corners, but 3 kills for Inconceivable. Lethal, the last player alive, trying to do what he can with some grenades, but it looks like Inconceivable just getting that ball away here, Mark.
Yeah, shout out to Tones31, I think that was as well, with the resub to Lethal. Of course, go and support your favorite content creators and Halo pros. Lethal being certainly somewhere where I spend a lot of my time and watching a lot of his gameplay. 2 players going to be back tower here. Falcated will be taken down. That's going to be a nice double kill coming in from Lethal. Snakebite picks up another one. That's 3 dead at least here for Inconceivable. And with ball time in their hands and with tower control, this could be another 20 seconds going to them.
Sentinels really prioritizing the heat wave, and you can understand why. You can understand why so many teams have made sure that it's always in one of their players' hands, and it just can be the difference maker from a setup being broken or a setup being held, which is why it's so important here in Oddball to have that in your arsenal. But now a 60-point lead, a 50-point lead, excuse me, at 62-11, and I'm really impressed with how Sentinels are holding this one down. Plenty of time still left for Inconceivable, so I'm not going to count them out of this map one just yet, but certainly with the way it's going, Sentinels look comfortable.
OS is going to be popping in just a few seconds, and we saw what a game changer that can be. Falcated hits an important no-scope and manages to actually clean up the damage that he dealt by jumping back out with that battle rifle to take Lethal down for now. We're going to see the POV of his teammates as he's just in death screen for a few moments, but this is not looking like a good round so far for Inconceivable. And one thing that we talked about that has been a secret to success, if you like, for Sentinels so far in the tournament when we have watched them, is there seems to be a clear game plan, something that is missing and has been missing for them in those first couple of tournaments.
And I think that's just experience with the game. They've obviously been playing a lot of the game individually, and they've been playing a lot of matchmaking together, but they haven't necessarily had that higher level experience of playing the best teams in scrims and playing at, you know, the late stages of tournaments. They got knocked out of top 12 for goodness sake of the last one, but now slowly but surely they're starting to find a rhythm here in Halo Infinite, and it's a scary one. It's the comeback story that you're talking about. They could march all the way from that lower bracket kind of 12 wherever they dropped all the way into grand finals, which would be a real run. It's something we've seen historically happen many a time in Halo's history, that we just have these dream runs through the elimination bracket. And Sentinels, they're looking really strong and ticking over to 80 points. Inconceivable will need to make a change now here in this game.
They certainly do. Otherwise, they will find themselves 1-0 down in this elimination bracket final. A lovely little route with the oddball, though, from Royal 2. And that's one thing that you'll see players learning more and more of as this game does go on. Just the ability to kind of outmaneuver your opponents with that oddball in your hands. However, as I say, that 3 have fallen here for Sentinels. But where is that oddball? That's the question. Have Inconceivable managed to pick it up? Are they going to be scoring? The answer is yes for now, but only for a few seconds by the looks of things. With 40 points on the board, and it's starting to tick up now for Inconceivable. Sentinels need to be careful here, even though they only need 11 points themselves. A couple of kills not going their way, and before you know it, that could be only around 20 or 30 points which they need to pick up.
Yeah, and the overshield being up and Inconceivable actually being close to that overshield, they may be able to grab it, and that could spell danger here for Sentinels. But time still is on their side. They could wait, group up, get as a 4, and just try and push as a unit. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. They've pincered the Inconceivable squad. One went down bottom middle. Lethal then pushed top middle with some assistance coming over from the commando spawn. And now Sentinels, they have ball control, and they only need 9 seconds.
One player manages to sneak round by the dummies, though, and he's going to be an important kill to pick up. It was Bound who made that play. Only a couple of seconds left, 2 seconds left, in fact, but they are all falling like dominoes in front of each other here, Sentinels. And Inconceivable, unfortunately, with that break coming in, the spawn kind of helped out Sentinels there. They'll pick up those last 2 seconds, and we'll go 1-0 up in our elimination bracket finals as they take oddball here on Livefire.
So it's a slightly different way to watch these elimination bracket finals, but actually to Clutch.
That's only Clutch's version of the game.
Just his, okay. It's been a while watching his
it's
streams. He's edited it. Oh, I get it.
Well, here we go. We're back underway again, and again, I want to give a big shout out to Lethal for allowing us to stream this gameplay. And as I said previously, if you want to go and show him some love as well, and the rest of the Sentinels boys, then please do, because these guys have been streaming. They're putting the time in to bring us this kind of gameplay and keep us entertained and keep the broadcast running as well. Unfortunately, we have had some issues today, but Lethal's having no issues with this Rocket player. Takes him down almost immediately, and it's going to be Falcated, who was the player on the receiving end of it. 3-2 the score at the start here, but Rockets in the hands of Lethal, and 2 kills also falling. I should say 1 kill. 2 kills, excuse me, do fall back to back as the pings now start to come out down on the sewers. And with the Rocket still potentially available, although it does look like he's run out of ammo, unfortunately, in that rocket launcher, Lethal just going to be patrolling around the bar, which is such a strong position to hold.
And it was CTF Bazaar a little bit earlier for Sentinels, where I was extremely impressed with how they approached things, with how they started the game, how they controlled the middle of the map. And Slayer works in a similar way, where you do need to control the middle of the map, you do need to prioritize that overshield and the rockets, but it's about what you do with them and when you decide to try and collapse on the other team. Because if you do overextend and you try and collapse on the other team and you allow them to then push out of their base and take maybe the rocket side off of you, or take truck off of you and pick up an overshield, then you can very much lose that mid control so quickly. So you really have to have someone who's on top of their game when it comes to being an IGL and deciding when is the right time to push. Or you can be patient, you can hold mid-map, you can wait for those angles to be taken and wait for the other team to actually push out. It does mean there's a little bit more risk involved and you can be killed sometimes, but certainly there is less of a chance of you losing that overshield and rocket spawn.
The kill's going to be traded there. Lethal, unfortunately, just the victim of some team shot. One player from Inconceivable trying to sneak past bottom middle, as that overshield is going to be coming up. Royal 2 seems to have sniffed him out and picked up the kill as well. That's going to be 3 kills actually falling. Booby's going to be the last player alive here for Inconceivable, and you can see it reflecting in the score now. The overshield should go to Sentinels here, and with that they might have the ability to push. Booby's taken down. That was the last player alive. The rest of them will be respawning. You can see by Royal 2 trying to retreat that they have spawned close to where Booby was, but kills are starting to rack up here for Sentinels. Inconceivable struggling to find anything to kind of string together to maybe get back into this game. The pressure from Sentinels is looking pretty relentless.
Yeah, look at this from Sentinels. They've got a 6-kill advantage and they are collapsing now onto Inconceivable. They knew the side they were spawning, but actually I think Inconceivable have come out the better with those engagements. They've traded off and they've managed to make it a 4-kill game, make it a 3-kill game. Boo Boo Doo Boo with the assault rifle really being a nuisance to Sentinels. But what is impressive is that at least off-spawn Sentinels are putting themselves in those kind of angles where they can try and stop these rockets being too easily picked up by Inconceivable.
Okay, it has that Bulldog though, so getting those rockets in control is going to be so difficult now for Sentinels, knowing that he's going to be patrolling around that rocket tower with that close quarters weapon. 4 kills the difference between the two teams, which is of course a full team wipe that would be required from Inconceivable to tie this up, but Frosty has somehow managed to get those rockets in his hand. He has only managed to pick up 1 kill though, as Bound manages to trade it out. Lethal just trying to do what he can to anchor here on the bar, and this is one of those positions that's so difficult to get people out of, but when your players fall around you, sometimes you have to try and clean up those kills, leave yourself a little bit exposed, and the team fire from Inconceivable is very impressive, and now it looks like it's a tie game.
Yeah, just 1 kill short, but so close. I mean, I can't actually tell if that's 18 or 19 because of the blooming yellow, but that's what's going to happen when you're watching someone stream. But now we can see at least it ticks over to 20, so we know Sentinels have that lead. But Inconceivable have done so well to push out of that base, to gain a little bit of mid-map control, to not allow Sentinels Sentinels to just run away and snowball out of control here. Now it's going to be tied up 20-20. Rockets are going to be spawning, so we need to see both these teams try and fight for them.
1v1 going down in the bar. It looks like it won't be concluded as a couple of shots come in. Here comes Snipe down though with that overshield, and he's just getting super aggressive. He takes down Lethal. Unfortunately, it's just going to be the one kill, but that might have been the opening that was required for Inconceivable. 23-22, and look at that. Bound just fell down from the vents and fell straight into a back smack coming in from Royal 2.
Look at those dynamo grenades just being tossed from Frosty into trees to really give him the space and the freedom to push up. And overlooking it all is Lethal. You might have noticed that he's been anchoring quite a lot in this game, just prioritizing these balcony positions, the bar positions, to give his team not only help and assistance, but also gain information by overseeing what's happening elsewhere and just having quick peeks towards spawns, just in case anyone is going to be, you know, moving over towards his direction. But right now, Sentinel's working as a real unit. They're almost working like a square. Everyone just watching all of these angles, just checking where Inconceivable are going to be pushing from.
Around a 3 kill or so lead here for Sentinels. You'll have to bear with us, as we mentioned, the yellow pretty difficult for us to read, especially on the feed that we have in front of us from the stream. Snipe down going to be taken down though. Frosty also picks up a kill, and you heard it just faintly in the comms there. Oh my god, Brad, coming in from I think that was Snakebite, so obviously something pretty crazy just happened away from the screen of Lethal, but he's managed to spy out these respawners, and this is where you can make any kind of team pay. But Snipe down will pick up the kill onto Royal 2 without being traded out by a last-second grenade. Falcated kind of left alone in the back of this base, surviving for now. Lethal just trying to keep him pinned in here.
Yeah, Lethal not overcommitting, knows he's got teammates nearby, just gives that call, does enough damage, will bait a little bit here, and now you'd imagine the kill could be cleaned up as long as he's there to provide a little bit of assistance. And it is actually Snakebite there, not able to get the kill, Falcated being a real nuisance in the base, and now Lethal has to turn his attentions towards the OS.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do much there, unfortunately. Falcated, I thought, might have been dead to rights, but look at the rotation now coming in from Lethal, turning his attention from that fight to the OS, but they're not going to get it. It's going to fall to Inconceivable here. So this is their opportunity to get back into this game, Inconceivable, especially with the players from Sentinels falling around it. It's not going to be a case of them focusing on that OS player and being able to get the shots as he's last alive. It will be a clean push available to Inconceivable now.
And we are seeing how this game type can be a little bit slower when played correctly. Both teams trying to prioritize that control of middle, but then also when you are on the back foot, when you are being kind of spawn trapped, you have to patiently try and assess how you're going to push out. Nice kills coming out from Sentinels to still keep their lead, but it's a very narrow lead indeed. Thanks to these rockets, thanks to these overshields, it has allowed Inconceivable to get very much back into this game.
Yeah, I just heard that.
So tied up at 36 now, both teams. There's someone that we know very well, Sherzy, over in Europe, would say 36. Slayer, aka Snakebite, going to get that kill to give them just a narrow lead of 1 kill. Just under 5 minutes left in this game as well, so plenty of time to still turn this around. Doesn't have to be anything desperate still coming in from Inconceivable. Well, maybe there's going to be a player here, Snipe down, that's going to cause some problems with that Bulldog, but look at those shots coming in from Lethal to keep him at bay for now. Snipe down has managed to escape with the Bulldog, however.
And just small comms there. Important things of, you know, watch out. He had the Bulldog. Very easily, Snakebite could have got aggressive, pushed in because he knew that there was a player who had taken a few shots. Without that communication, that could have been a kill that had gone towards Inconceivable. And even though it's an obvious thing for most top-level pro players, those sometimes can be the little difference makers between, you know, 1 or 2 kills here or there. But Lethal has managed to pick up the Bulldog here, and with Overshield popping, if he can control this rocket side and just give the freedom to the rest of the team, this Overshield could be game-winning.
Yeah, and Lethal just dropped down there and stole the milk off his neighbor's doorstep. It was 2 players just staring at him down in the sewers, and he just walked in, said hello, and picked up the Bulldog and escaped with his life. So a really big play coming in from Lethal, and now with him baiting himself down on the bottom of this rocket tower, the rest of his teammates are starting to pick up kills. So what might have seemed like a really small maneuver, the amount of information that was picked up from Lethal, plus the fact that he managed to get the Bulldog out of the hands of Inconceivable, now has turned into a lead that's looking a lot more commanding here for Sentinels.
can't say that any of my neighbors or myself have ever stolen milk bottles or had our milk bottles stolen,
just
but
showed my age.
clearly we live
Nobody
in
gets their
different
milk delivered anymore.
different areas. Different areas. I just think there's a lot of thieves in your
Different
area.
eras.
Yeah, that's also true. Although you're only a couple of years older than me, that's for sure. But right now, 43 to 38, make it 40. Just 2 quick kills there for Inconceivable, but still the lead for Sentinels. That's what matters. And with the rockets coming up and Lethal in a position to grab them with the grapple, now this is a fantastic opportunity for them to get some big kills to really make a breakaway.
Let's talk about how long Lethal's been alive. He's been around 2 minutes or so. He's been completely alive. The rocket is not going to quite connect on that player. Doesn't have any grenades either, so just making sure that he's conserving that rocket that he does have in his hands. Does have the grapple available. If he does get some damage done, I wonder if Lethal's going to try and focus onto this player and maybe just guarantee that kill. They are okay to trade for now. 46-41 is the score. So Inconceivable need 9, just to 4 required for Sentinels. And if Lethal plays this right and makes sure that he holds onto this rocket, then maybe that's going to be a kill. But they try and make the push, and they've just given a couple of kills up now, Sentinels. I didn't feel like they really needed to make a play there.
Lethal looking to play the perfect rocket here. Just waiting, baiting, knows that it could make the difference to stop this overshield from being picked up, but then hesitated and second-guessed himself because of the kills that came in from Inconceivable, and now there is a big old comeback from Inconceivable here. They should be able to grab the overshield, but there is still 1 rocket available for Sentinels.
Well, look at this spawn, though, from Lethal. If he can sneak behind any players that might be lagging behind the rest of his team, he might be able to pick something up. However, Royal 2 and Frosty are going to do the heavy lifting for him. Now it's just 2 kills for Sentinels to close out this second game of our series, this best of 5, and go up 2-0.
Only 1 minute 30 left as well, so Inconceivable can't afford to slow this down too much, but there's 49 to 45, just 1 more remaining.
Call out from Lethal, you can hear in the background to their rockets. They're going to be weak as well. 1 player's flying across the top. Lethal's going to try and get an angle and should be able to pick up the 50th kill, and that will be it. Sentinels got a 2-0 in the series with a 50-46 win. A little bit shaky at the end, Dan, but they got the job done.
Yeah, certainly a questionable decision made. Maybe they slowed...
Of that, I saw, I think it was Ogre 2 tweeting out, and I think that's the first time he's seen 25 kills be put up in a pro-level tournament game by a player at the top level. And off the rip here, look at this starting strategy here from Sentinels. That's 2 falling for them. Bound will trade out for 1, but Snipe Down at the moment, it's just being focused. He's going to be lasered by Lethal as well, and that's going to create the opening for them to collect rockets.
Fantastic shots, though, from Lethal, not just onto Snipe Down, but also the follow-up to give support so the rockets could be grabbed by his team. And that's something that we see Snipe Down do a lot. I mean, he will go for that Stalker Rifle. We saw it when Inconceivable were playing a little bit earlier on in the winners bracket. And if he can get hold of it, if he can start to anchor for the team, then Inconceivable will get very scary. But A and B are currently being held by Sentinels, and I think these are the 2 priority strongholds you really want to go for here on Streets. I know there's a few European teams that disagree with me. They feel like they can hold C and B a little bit better, but I know for me personally, I'd rather try and hold A and B. But if you're Sentinels, right now, you need to just get anything you can get your hands on, because Inconceivable have a full 3 total lockdown here.
Yeah, the difficulty for Sentinels as well is that they're going to be on staggered spawns because the kills are falling one after the other in sort of bouts of 2. So Sentinels at the moment, you can see they're just trying to survive and wait for each other to spawn. Lethal's going to have to be quick on his feet here to try and rotate and help out his team. But there's the first kill in that team fight, like I mentioned. Snipe Down will pick up 1. Lethal will manage to trade it out, though, with some really good grenades and might have the chance for a double kill here. That's really big from Lethal. Not only to cap A, but to get his team out of what would have been a really horrible spawn rotation.
Fantastic shots there from Lethal, and it's just so important that someone clutches up there, not allowing Inconceivable to get out of control and put too many points on the board. Now they've got control of A and B. Inconceivable are going to be spawning over towards C here, so if Sentinels just watch that B ramp, that red ramp, and also keep eyes towards Neons, you can watch those crosses, you can watch those angles, and you can stop Inconceivable from being able to comfortably push out of this tram. And now with rockets coming up as well, if Sentinels can get hold of them, Inconceivable may really struggle, but they have successfully pushed out towards B here.
Bound will pick up 1 and take down Frosty. However, the trade should come in, but no. Good team fire and teamwork coming in from Inconceivable. The score of 40 to 5 or so, to 52, excuse me, is in the hands of Inconceivable for now. With B and C in their control, they will continue to score. Looks like it's going to be a push and an assault on to C here to see if they can wrestle control back and finally slow down the scoring because Inconceivable are way over that halfway mark now towards, excuse me, they're nowhere near the halfway mark. It is getting a little bit late here. You'll have to forgive me for my mistakes, but they certainly are starting to eke out a little bit of a lead. And Slay-wise, it looks like at the moment, Sentinels are struggling to keep up.
Yeah, I think that Lethal played his life well there. He was a big distraction to allow the rest of the Sentinel squad to push up and try and prioritize B, but it just wasn't quite enough. He didn't do enough damage to those players that Sentinels could take advantage of the 3 versus 4 that they were in, with just maybe some damage being applied to both players. But at least they've managed to keep within, you know, kind of 40-50 seconds here. It's not out of reach yet, and Inconceivable haven't had a triple cap for too long, so they haven't just managed to storm ahead. And with both A and C being taken, now what Sentinels can do is Inconceivable are going to be forced to push towards either A or C. When they do that, then you prioritize B, you take it off them, and you're ultimately going to end up with a little bit of a war between either B and C or B and A.
Something to notice as well, the way that Lethal is jumping up through that tire jump, just using the left-hand side so that he doesn't have to use that clamber animation, which can cost you a few shots. And that's a perfect example of it. Guns up always better than guns down. If you can make any kind of jump without lowering your battle rifle and having to use that clamber animation, it gives you that advantage that you're going to be looking for. There's the beat down in the window. However, Bound will have the Bulldog to take him down. And now it's going to be consistent scoring here for Inconceivable. B and C still under their control.
But at least Sentinels have A, so they should spawn Cafe, which they will. But now it's which stronghold they try and storm. With rockets in hand, maybe they'll push towards C initially here, just because you can get some really big kills with the rockets, with a lot of walls to play off. Whereas if you try and push up the stairs towards B, sometimes those rockets just go amiss and they will just fire into nothing.
AC now being held by Sentinels. They managed to stop the scoring and managed to start scoring themselves. A being contested, so it looks like a B push might be on the cards here for Sentinels. You can see all these players moving up ahead of Lethal. Snipedown will trade out a couple of kills. Snipedown picking up 2 and managing to escape with his life as well. So a really big play from Snipedown from Inconceivable. Will slow down this push. You can see the Lethal recognizing the situation, knowing that he's not going to be able to push 1 versus 3. So waits for his teammates off that respawn. They will manage to finally take down Snipedown. But again, Snipedown taking someone down with him.
Yeah, this is really where you have to survive on a map like Streets, because you can be really awkward. There's so many corners you can tuck yourself around, and the other team has to really put their necks out of line to try and take you down, and it will often leave them quite vulnerable on the map to shots coming from your teammates. So the survivability, very important. Snipedown demonstrating that perfectly there. But still, even though Inconceivable have been scoring consistently, this is very much achievable for a comeback for Sentinels, but I'm impressed what I've seen from Inconceivable. They look far comfier here on Streets than they have in any of the prior maps.
Sentinels still struggling to break this stronghold hold that is coming from Inconceivable at A and B. And you mentioned how this is one of the strongest and most difficult pushes to break. Well, if you want an example of why, just think back to Oddball. This is where teams try and hold around that A and B structure. They want to hold that ball around A and control this B street. And with the score starting to tick towards that 200-point mark now for Inconceivable, Sentinels look a little bit confused about how they want to try and play this down. It seems like they are going to finally get control of A. They have managed to get hold of rockets as well, as you can see that in Lethal's death screen. And now they make the push onto B, but there's already 2 players there from Inconceivable who might be able to chop them down.
Inconceivable have just had a better B hold throughout the entirety of this game. Similarly to Livefire, B is the key to success. Even though Sentinels have sometimes been able to get A and C for a minimal amount of scoring, you have to be holding B to really put those serious points on the board. Finally, they get hold of B here. They have A and B. They've managed to trap Inconceivable into C. It's about what they do from this position.
Are they able to effectively hold in the same way that Inconceivable were? As they will tick their way to 99 points and over into the 3-point club. 100 points on the board now, but still a long, long way to go for them to turn this one around. And with the kills going down to Inconceivable here, Boo Boo picking up 1. Snipedown coming into the feed as well, and Lethal will be a last player alive. So just trying to survive for now, and it's not going to happen. That is a break, and that was the question answered. Not able to hold as well as Inconceivable Sentinels, and that'll be scoring turned over once again.
Yeah, now they're forced back to C here, Sentinels as well, so they all need to make sure they push out, and I think this might be one of the last real pushes they'll get to try and break this setup from Inconceivable, with only 45 points required now for the yellow team on your screens. And I think we are looking more likely towards a game 4 here, but I would never count out Sentinels for a comeback. All they need is one of those solid holds. They just really need to push together and take this B stronghold off of Inconceivable. The Rockets could make a difference, and certainly Lethal trying to position himself to at least make them a priority.
Snipedown picks up that first kill, and Snipedown has been a thorn in the side consistently here for Sentinels. Just picking up those first kills, managing to escape with his life so many times as well. And now you're seeing the push on to B, but the kill's being traded in the feed, and Snipedown once again picking up a kill with those rockets. He's making this look like a very, very difficult last few moments here. 2:45 on the clock. C being turned over by Inconceivable as well, and this is looking like it is going to be the game going to Inconceivable unless they can get a last second turnover of B and that scoring will stop. On 2:49, it's kind of the Sentinels way, right? They leave it till the last second before they try and make the comeback, and it couldn't be any more true than what we're seeing right now.
I mean, I've seen crazy things happen in today's tournament. I
feel like I've seen everything, Dan.
This would be the craziest, but sometimes when you are so close to winning a game, you do start to desperate these strongholds, and maybe Sentinels can take advantage of that, but with 2 players in B, they should be able to start scoring. They just need the 1 second tick, but there is going to be someone hovering in B. Not going to be one just yet for Inconceivable. They're going to need to make one more push here.
If Sentinels win this, I will expire, just to let everyone know. Because we've seen 100 to 99 rounds of ball today. We've seen 50-49s already in the Halo Championship Series, Game 5s. And I'm telling you, if we see a comeback from around 110 points, and Inconceivable throwing away a 249-point advantage, and this could be pretty crazy. But now the B change is coming in, but you can see C is being contested, so there's a chance to turn this over, and Bound not getting in the trade there is going to allow Lethal to start capturing B, but that is going to finally be the game as C and B will be turned over to Inconceivable. I just thought it was going to happen. With everything that's happened today, Dan, I just thought that was going to happen, but it's not. Inconceivable get their first map inside of Aquarius. Maybe I haven't woken up, maybe I've just slowly started to go insane, but that's going to be a question that I need answered. I'm just saying, I need maybe Jeff over 343 to look that one up for us and get into the lore. Hidden Xperia, I called you out earlier. Find that one out for me, buddy. But what we can tell you is that Sentinels have the opportunity here to close this out, but Inconceivable not going down without a fight.
No, Inconceivable are very much going to want to take this to a game 5 and give themselves a shot of getting back into those grand finals, having another stab at Optic Gaming, who are still waiting in the grand finals. And of course, whoever gets there will have to not only beat Optic in one best of 5, but in a double best of 5, because it would have to be a bracket reset if you were going to be the champions of the Kickoff qualifier, and certainly that's something everyone would love to have. You know, that #1 seed going into Rally, being the team that everyone wants to take down.
Snipedown does have the camouflage though, and you've just seen him take down Lethal as he was kind of patrolling around where those dynamo nades do spawn. Gonna be spawning in the fridge here, so looks like there might be a spawn trap opportunity, but unfortunately for Inconceivable, they don't have the numbers, so you can see that Lethal's going to be able to move out pretty freely back to his base. His teammate's picking up a couple of kills, is now going to allow him to move towards his teammate Snakebite. And this is something to point out to everyone who wants to know how to get better at Halo in general, Halo Infinite. The buddy system. Always work towards a teammate, always try and find yourself in a position to fight with them. You've just seen exactly that coming out of Lethal.
Yeah, it's so easy off spawn to just push on your own because you think you can make a difference or you think you can flank behind, but actually just taking that extra second to assess where your teammates are and joining one of them could be the difference maker from not only just getting a couple of kills, but also getting a flag pull or stopping a flag from being taken by your opponents or scored from your opponents. But here's Lethal behind enemy lines, big shots onto Boo Boo, but will retreat out of that one.
Both players taken down to no shields. Lethal just trying to survive for now. You haven't seen much action in the kill feed. As I say that, it lights up in yellow. That's 3 kills going down almost instantly, simultaneously for Inconceivable. Sentinels now very much on the back foot. The pressure coming into their base. Boo Boo trying to fly up those straight stairs, which you can see Lethal's trying to fight. The trade comes in. Boo Boo actually doing a pretty good job, and the trade didn't actually come in. It looked like Boo Boo survived. Royal 2 will actually clean that one up. But no flagpole coming in from Inconceivable, so good defensive stand here from Sentinels.
Quite an even trade for Slays at the moment. That's why we've not really seen a flag being pulled. No one able to get into too much of an advantageous position where they can start to get that flag on the move, but maybe this could be a chance with Frosty getting 2, but 2 down on both sides. Again, it's just being kind of blow for blow with both of these teams. Maybe it's going to be something like a camouflage that could be the difference maker to really give one of these sides the chance to get in and pull that flag.
Both teams doing a really good job of clearing out their own bases before they move forward as well. I think that's something that's becoming more and more important here on Aquarius. One player top P, you can hear the call out coming, but just momentarily Lethal lost him. Does he get the stick? Yes, he does. So at least manages to trade out that situation. Now there's a cheeky little flank coming in from one of his teammates. Player down in the courtyard is going to be a concern. Boo Boo picks up 1 kill, though, onto Nerdslayer. I just want to point out to all Inconceivable fans, by the way, I know we're watching a lot of Lethal point of views because the only one we've got right now. I'd love to show you what the players on Inconceivable are doing too, but unfortunately, this is the situation we find ourselves in for now. But Inconceivable looking in a pretty good spot here as you're seeing 3 kills go down, and Lethal just watching his teammate desperate forward to try and get that flag return. But with the way that Bound is playing this top mid, it's going to be difficult for them to do. But actually, Snakebite came out with a really big kill. Frosty picking up another, and this might be a little bit of a desperation defensive stance coming in now from Sentinels.
Great nades as well coming out from Lethal there, just banking them off the top. It was Snakebite who started everything by stopping that flag, making it very difficult for them to get it back quickly. And now with Lethal being in the base and tossing that flag out, this suddenly becomes a very difficult situation for Inconceivable. They've got to be off spawn, focusing about trying to get control back. They've had to give up that flag because now their own flag has been thrown out, their own flag is being moved.
It's going to be all the way back to the base as well, and they have them trapped on the spawn, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be 1-0 here to Sentinels. You can see on the death cam that one's going to be run home, so perfect execution. You have to say the way that Lethal played that inside of the base, Dan, you can't really do it much better than he did.
No, he was given the freedom by his teammates to get there, but once you get there, you've got a big responsibility on your shoulders. You have to secure at least 1 kill, and not only did he do that, he secured 2 kills. So good work there from Lethal, and now he just continues to maraud his way around the map and is consistently finding kind of 2 shots and 1 shots, really listening well to his team as another double kill crops up. 7 minutes left, so still plenty of time here for Inconceivable, but Sentinels somewhat in the driving seat with a 1-0 advantage.
They certainly are indeed, and that's the first real time we've seen them get inside of the Inconceivable base and get that flag moving, and it was off the back of a cap attempt from Inconceivable. It was essentially a counter cap that did come in, and that's objective efficiency. That's something that Sentinels have always been known for, their efficiency, Dan, and it's good to see that back for them. I think that's one of the strongest signs on how they're playing that you could possibly ask for.
Base to their car jump, Falcoted.
Sentinels not really showing as much weaknesses as they had prior in the previous tournaments, and I think that just shows that the practice they've finally been able to put in is starting to pay off here. And sometimes you just need a little bit of tournament experience in a game to realize how it's going to play out, because it is entirely different to scrims. You can scrim all you like, but at the end of the day, not everyone's going to take scrims 100% seriously, even if they say they are. There is just something about competitions that just makes that adrenaline flow that little bit more, pumps it through your body, and suddenly you can hit what seems like extra shots at times, or miss shots, depending on how you handle pressure. But Sentinels, they look very different to what we saw in previous tournaments, and Lethal at the moment just needs to make sure this flag is stopped and just has to fight his life.
Yeah, he isn't going to get the trade, though, onto Boo Boo, and that's really, really big. You can see his teammates are coming off the spawn, but if Boo Boo can get it inside of that closet, this might be an opportunity to actually run the flag, but Snakebite is going to be top mid. I think the camo is going to be down, and there might be an opportunity for them to pick it up. The flag is still going to be moving here. We'll have to keep our eyes on where that one does end up as some desperation plays start to come in from Sentinels, and it's looking like this one will be put in, so we're tied up at 1-1 now, and look at this. They're going for the double cap.
Could be massive here. Really could turn this game around. And if you're Sentinels, you just got to try and stop the bleeding here. Stop this flag from moving, but you don't want to overcommit to the point where you just suffocate yourselves and put yourselves in a spot where you're going to be outslayed heavily. But Lethal and Snakebite combined at least somewhat stop this flag, and here's also a fantastic position here. You can see just being able to get the re now for Sentinels. They'll send this one back. It was Snakebite just making sure that this was not going to go too far from Inconceivable.
Well, manages to evade that grenade, but he doesn't manage to evade the call-out coming from Lethal. As you can see that Frosty did manage to clean that one up. Snipe down, taken down to no shields. Managed to escape for now. But with just under 5 minutes left in this game, and Sentinels 2-1 up in the series, these are really big moments for Inconceivable here. If they fail a couple of pushes, or if they get pushed themselves, and that flag slips through their fingers, then they're going to have to start playing a little bit more desperate here, Dan, and that can lead to mistakes.
How many times have we seen Aquarius CTF go to overtime, though? So even if I feel like another flag goes in for one of these teams, I just got a feeling that we might see it go to 2-2, and we might end up in overtime. It's happened far too many times than I actually thought would happen on Aquarius CTF, but you can understand that with how players are playing this game right now, how they're slowly learning and adapting to one another, if you do get that flag on the move, if you do slay it correctly, 9 times out of 10, if you play it perfectly, you're going to get that flag back into your base.
Those shots from Lethal, so good. And I want to just point out the way that he's actually maneuvering his player model around the base. He's always playing around a head glitch. He's very smart. It might not seem like something you can notice from the way that he's actually playing from his individual POV, but if you were to face the other player he's shooting, it really does make him as difficult a target as physically possible. So the positioning from Lethal really impressive, but unfortunately for him, his teammates are going to be falling around him, and so is the camo. He didn't manage to burn that one. It will still be available. As you're going to see both players and both teams just fighting their way across the map at the moment. This has been a real attritional battle, this one, Dan.
Camo's still there and waiting. Lethal just had a glance towards it to make sure no one had picked it up, and I'm sure that Sentinels are keeping tabs on it as well as Inconceivable. And this happens quite often, actually, in Aquarius CTF, where because it's in such a vulnerable position, the camo, it just gets picked up, then dropped, until it's in a spot where someone can comfortably grab it without being absolutely pummeled from across the map. But difficult to split the two here. Even it would seem in slays, of course we don't have the statistics, but from what I've watched it seems fairly even. We need a big stop here from Lethal, or Sentinels, excuse me, need a big stop here if they are going to be able to at least stay in this one.
2 kills do go down, so they should be safe for now. They just got to stop that touch coming in, and with the dynamo grenades in his hand, Lethal will be able to deny that area coming in and not be able to allow someone to push without that knowledge being given to him through those audio cues. There's another dynamo grenade into the back of the base. Lethal just trying to play his life for now. Does have the sidekick, but he's going to be pushed. But again, the sidekick being that weapon that can give you that almost guaranteed trade, even if you're down a couple of shots in the closet.
I do love this Inconceivable roster. There's something about it. It's the players that are on it, the history that they've had. I mean, Snipedown's got enough history on his own, but what Bound was able to achieve towards the end of Halo 5, he was kind of touted as that wonder kid. Would he get on a team that would allow him to be that big player that we knew he had the possibilities to actually achieve? And well, it looks like he's finally got that team, and this is going to be certainly the beginning of something magical, I'm sure. And in this series, they've still got the chance to take this all the way to a best of 5. Nothing to split the two still, tied up 1-1.
2 minutes left on the clock as well. The flag going to be moving here as well. The Sentinel's got to be extremely careful as we keep our eyes on the kill feed. Keep an eye on where those kills do fall. If it falls to Inconceivable, then this could be going to a game 5. Snipedown manages to survive, and Bound will pick up the kill bottom middle. Where is that flag, though? It's coming across the bridge. You can see the Sentinels don't really look like they're in the greatest of positions to try and stop this. They're flooding across the map. Royal 2 picks up 1. Booba will trade that out. With only 1 minute 30 left on the clock, they actually managed to get what looks like a stop and a flag pull themselves. So a very strange situation, but it isn't going to be the case. 2 kills do fall to Sentinels, but most importantly, you can see here, Inconceivable have put that second flag home.
They've put it in, but with the slays coming out, Sentinels have a chance to run this one, but look at the kill feed. 2 for Inconceivable, not allowing Sentinels to get that counter cap. Now making sure it's 3 dead, so Sentinels off the spawn are going to have 1 minute to try and get 1 flag here. Otherwise, we are going to a game 5 between these 2 titans here in Halo Infinite.
I'm looking at our low engine.
Only 50 seconds to play with. This is the scary moment for Sentinels. Game 5 is looming here. Royal 2 trying to support Lethal as they try and make this last move, but there is Snipedown with a cheeky back smack, slipping through the cracks behind the defenses of Sentinels as pull is attempted by Snakebite to try and get the move going, but this is looking like it's just become almost mathematically impossible to get across the map in time to get that flag pulled, and it looks like we might be going to a game 5 here.
20 seconds, have to hit every shot, and someone's got to get in the base and got to touch that flag within 14. There's 2 dead now for Inconceivable, so if they can transition quick enough to this base, there is a chance, but it has to happen here and now. Got to get their touch within seconds. You've got to touch it. You have to touch it, but it's not going to happen. No touch going to be there. Even when you're taking that fight there, I think you've just got to touch it to give yourself a chance. Fights without clambering, for example. So those minor details, like Lethal jumping onto that tiny ledge so he didn't have to clamber on streets. as long as you as an individual know all of those tiny little nuances, then you can be your best player and you can give your team the best chance at actually trying to achieve a victory. Combine that with chemistry, teamwork, and also knowledge of how to play a game, that's when you get the perfect recipe for success.
Well, Game 5 alarm is ringing, everybody, because that's where we find ourselves in our elimination bracket finals. Both teams with 2 games on the board. Sentinels were 2-0 up in this series. That's something we should remember as well, Dan. It's been an incredible actual comeback from Inconceivable to send it to this Game 5. And off the break, I tell you what, a pretty good start here from Sentinels. 5-3, excuse me. It seems like they won that opening break, but Inconceivable answering back.
Yeah, you talk about starting strategies, you talk about trying to secure that camouflage off the rip, and Sentinels have done just that. And will find that 3-kill advantage I was talking about. If they can now gain control of one of the sides of the map and some of the priority weapons, like the shock rifle, for example, they can make it very difficult for Inconceivable to try and get back into this game. And I know it sounds crazy to say at just 7-4, but when it's a Game 5, you've got to presume that it isn't 7-5 right now. You've got to try and think this is 47-45. Any death could be huge and could make massive implications for the latter stages of this game.
Boo Doo going to be taking some shots from Lethal up in that A-attic. Big nade coming in from Snakebite there to clean up a kill onto Falcated. Now you can see the opportunity maybe to collapse on these last 2 players is there if they could close that gap in time. The question is, are they able to do that, Dan? If they can't, then they might be running into respawners over the other side of the map. So we're back to that kind of standoff, that nervy feeling here. 9-7 the score.
Yeah, it's not a traditional kind of map cut in half situation at the moment. There's a few players lurking around with manglers and other things to try and catch people off guard and ambush them. It's not slowed down to the point where neither team is moving, and I think that's always good for a game, that everyone is marching around and have an idea of how they want to play it. But he's just got an overkill, has Falcated.
He has indeed. I saw it kind of happening in the corner of my eyes, and that's a way to get back into the game. 14-13 now. Falcated starting to pop off a little bit, but as I say that, Snakebite manages to restore order for just a few seconds with a double kill to reset the map. But that's the kind of play that you need to make. But also, Falcated's got to be very, very careful. He doesn't let the adrenaline get the better of him. Game 5, you cannot get carried away.
No, you don't want to put yourself into a position where you are being overzealous and over-challenging just because you're confident, because that may just be that one kill that gives the advantage to the other team. Camouflage did pop, so there was an opportunity for both teams to scrap for it. That's one thing I like about the dynamic spawns, and that, you know, you're always knowing when camouflage is going to be coming up, because you just constantly get these guaranteed battles that happen at certain time periods of the game. Sentinels with a very minor lead still, but the most important word being lead.
2 kills, that minor lead, like you mentioned.
I have nades on him.
Gonna be lots of eyes on when that power-up's gonna be coming up as well. There's a nade though, and a Hail Mary is gonna do the job as Booba will find himself on the receiving end. Lethal now repositions to find himself a couple of extra grenades to see if he can repeat the dosage onto Inconceivable. 3 kills the difference between these 2 teams, but Booba trying to make that move over to control once more. I spoke about the repeat dosage. If Booba would have fallen there, then that would have been catastrophic for Inconceivable. Snakebite picks up 1. Royal 2 will pick up 1 as well. Snipe Down manages to trade one of the kills out, but only a 2-for-1 swap there. Not good enough for Inconceivable, and that's just going to extend the lead here for Sent.
Sentinels not allowing the game to just be a standoff war either. As soon as they had a couple of players down, they wanted to push on their advantage. They pushed into Turbine to try and find those remaining players of Inconceivable. They didn't actually get any kills because of it, but they got a slight bit more of map control. Falcated is going to be hunted here by Lethal.
That made me laugh, by the way, just a little plasma pistol shot. I'm not sure if that would deliver or not, but if Lethal would have picked up a kill in a Game 5 to win things with just 1 single bullet coming from a plasma pistol, that would be the greatest ending to a Game 5 probably that we've ever seen. Well, we're going to see the sword is going to be popping up, as you can see in the background there on the weapon pad. And we're going to be coming up pretty soon as well. So all players are going to have to be very, very careful. Boo's going to be taken down on that angle once more from Lethal. Map control heavily in the favor now of Sentinels, excuse me. And Inconceivable starting to let these silly deaths happen down. And you can't let that happen. 1 by 1 falling. It really does start to add up, as Bound will be taken down after getting 1 kill with that sword. So that's weaponry being turned over as well.
Yeah, and that's the danger about bringing that sword into play. I mean, Inconceivable had to back off. Bound was out of play for a little bit to gain the sword. Tried tried to push up, got 1 kill, but it was traded out, and if that sword has gone into the hands of Sentinels, then they are going to be able to hold even more successfully than they were prior, and that just spells bad news for Inconceivable. 9 kills behind now. Sentinels starting to run away with this one a little bit, and they can just start to trade 1 for 1, 1 for 1, and they'll get closer and closer to this grand final.
Yeah, this is looking like Sentinels controlling things for now, and as you look at the kill feed, it's always 2 for 1, Dan. 2 for 1 in the favor of Sentinels. Not even just trading, making sure their pushes are efficient too. Little body system being used here, and once again, even though 1 kill fell, it was traded out immediately by Sentinels. Like you say, now they move within 15 of closing out the series.
Inconceivable caught on a pretty nasty spawn cycle here, and they're trapped in various areas of the map, and Sentinels know that. That's why they've pushed into Turbine, tried to take advantage of having several up over Inconceivable, and unfortunately for Inconceivable, this is not changing. Because of the speed of which Sentinels are playing and pushing and transitioning from one side of the map to the other, Inconceivable have just consistently been on the back foot, and they find themselves now, what, 13 kills behind? Now, I've seen comebacks, but this is a difficult one for Inconceivable. They need to somehow stop this aggression from Sentinels, but also be able to take map control at the same time.
This is a little bit of a desperation play here from Bound with this 1v1. The repulsor going to be used by Lethal as well, just to extend that life. 40 kills on the board now, make it 43. They're starting to stack up here as Frosty picks up 2 and Snakebite picks up another. That was 4 dead here for Inconceivable. It's been a long night for them, Dan, but with 6 kills to go, I think the Sentinels will be marching on to our grand final.
Yeah, you talk about adrenaline. It's going to be rushing through Sentinels now, as they know they are very close to the grand final. Just 5 more required, which means they can be a little bit more frivolous with their pushes. They can be aggressive. They can get in the faces of Inconceivable because they can afford to make mistakes here. Of course, you don't want to throw away too many deaths, but it means you can take a few risks here or there.
Big grenade going over the top. Another Hail Mary effort coming in from Lethal. 3 kills to go. I think it's almost a case of charge because we can't lose once again for Sentinels here. As I say that, though, Bound will pick up 1 onto Snakebite, and I feel like that's a saying which isn't quite as applicable here in Halo Infinite as it was back when the Ogres were shouting it across the main stage. But Will 2 picking up another. Now it's just 1 kill to go here, and I tell you what a tournament run this has been from Sentinels. They close out a game 5. They find their way into a grand final, and it seems like all they needed was a little bit of a fire lit under them yesterday for them to return to form. Yeah, they've certainly found a different gear now, have Sentinels, and they look pretty scary going into this grand final. I'm sure Optic are looking at this and saying, well, you know, we've waited a while. You better make it worth it, and better make you actually come into this series and give us a good game. And I think Sentinels will, even though Inconceivable came awfully close, and also congrats to Inconceivable with a top 3 finish. That's an impressive one from them, especially after, you know, they've only formed pretty